Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Revenue Hacks Wednesday. We have a new face with us today. As you all know, we've been kind of ramping up this week with Calvin joining us, so it's going to be super. We're going to get around the table. Today we're going to be talking with Stefan about the guest journey. Stefan is from a company called Workmatrix, but has also worked with a lot of big international brands, international chains, big hotels. And we had a great conversation with Stefan, myself, and Susanne on Monday, and it was just so insightful, so amazing. So we're really excited about that. Let us know where you're messaging us from. Let us know where you're watching. We're delighted to see everyone kind of join again, all the regular people. You're very welcome back. Remember, anyone with the best comment or the most engagements today in this call will get a Revenue Hacks mug. We've been rocking these for about a month now. We've actually handed out 3 of them. So anyone who actually won a mug, Daniela, your mug is on the way. You should get it this week, maybe next week, and then just send us a picture so that we know you got it for sure. Don't be afraid to tag us on Instagram, LinkedIn, or even on Facebook, which is cool. We're going to go around the room quickly, and we're going to say who we are. As you all know, Khristina. I work with JMK Group. I am their group revenue, e-com, digital sales, and marketing manager. So we'll go to Susanne.
Hello, I'm Susanne. I'm the commercial director at Journey. We are a tech and marketing agency based in Cheltenham.
Stefan?
Hi, I'm Stefan from Workmatrix. We're a digital agency in Germany. We're working for chains like Steigenbauer Hotels here in Germany, as well as Citizen M being one of our key clients. But we also work for smaller single hotels and smaller groups. And I think what sets us a bit apart is that we not only do web design like a classic digital agency, but we also always have this special technology background with API integrations. One of our key clients, but we also work for smaller.
Great. And then Calvin, last but not least, tell us who you are, where you're from. Calvin is the newest host of Revenue Hacks.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. My name is Calvin Tilokee, CEO of Revpar Media. You guys may know me as Revparblums on Instagram. I have taken that and started my own social media management agency. So that is what I'm currently working on now. I am very happy to be here. It is still morning where I am. So I will say good morning. And I hope I don't turn you off with my American accent.
Never, never. But thank you for joining us so early in the morning. It's super, because I know that a lot of people are starting to tune in from the US just to watch you because they want to see what you actually look like. And across the EMEA. This is the guy who makes us all laugh all the time on Instagram. It is amazing. So without further ado, we're going to pass it over to Susanne, who's going to start kickstarting the conversation. We've got loads of questions for Stefan. If you have questions, remember, pop them into that LinkedIn box and let's get chatting.
Okay, so first things first, we today are talking about the guest user journey. Now that can mean many things, but considering today we've got Stefan on as a guest host, we really want to get stuck into what that looks like online, website, what is the user experience, how do we define it, and where do we start, Stefan?
Yeah, very good first question. Where do we start with the user journey? Actually, since we're doing more than just websites, we usually start way beyond or way before we look at the website. I've been thinking about for today, I believe the focus is a bit the website, but just to share some insights on what we're thinking along. Obviously, it's about how can we acquire guests in the first place online. That includes voice search. And I hope we can get to this in a bit on what we can do here. But in the end, guest journey itself, we believe is everything, any touch points you have digitally throughout the guests coming to you, to your hotel, staying at the hotel, and then eventually leaving the hotel. And the website can not only support the sales part, which we're talking about quite often with our clients, but it can also be a service tool for you that helps you to optimize the stay. I'm thinking of online checkout. I'm thinking of handling prepayments or payment related issues to solve for the customer themselves, as well as a check-in solution. And the whole journey, as I said, any digital touch point, I think is what we're looking at with regard to this.
Brilliant. That's absolutely spot on, isn't it? Because it's not just about the website and what you have online. It's every single touch point. So is there any tips, Stefan, that you would see right now that you're seeing emerging trends, or something that hotels and our revenue managers that are watching should be looking for right now? Is there anything that you see that's different or stands out?
Yeah, well, looking at last year, what we did mainly was really a lot of cleanups on websites, because our customer really wanted to be ready once we hopefully can open up, and we all hope that's going to be very soon. There's lots of cleanup, and I think what was really helpful was that it forced us to focus on what is really needed as a bare minimum. You know, I'm thinking if during this time, do we need a chat functionality on the website? I'm a strong supporter of this, but I questioned myself during last year, do we need it right now? We have a lot less visitors. Can we staff it? I doubt that we can staff it. Obviously, we can offer the automated chatbots, etc. But looking at one of our big clients here, they really like to have staff chats on the website. It really helps conversion, but we all needed to tone down that. And so what's left on the website, I really think you need to improve the website. There's just classic questions, SEO, how fast is your website? But also the topics that actually are important. So important in the sense of acquisition. You acquire a guest, he comes to your website, and what we see on many clients that come to us, it's bad photography or bad wording on the website, and you've spent all this money to acquire these guests, and then they make it to the website, and then they're frustrated. It's not the experience they were expecting. So I think this whole acquisition and how the website is structured and how it's designed, how fast it is, as I said before, is really, really key, and is actually more important even more important than it was before the crisis. With regards to, you asked about certain things that stick out. Beginning of the year, we were doing lots of tests on renting out hotel rooms as office alternatives, or these kind of things. And honestly, I have not yet seen like a broad adoption or a broad success on this. No. Many of our clients tried it. I believe maybe one or two that where it sticked. I think that's really important if you think about this. Is it really your market? Is your hotel obviously built for this? I think there's this tendency in the industry that we keep copying or seeing what the others are doing and think that that's great. And it is for them, but we really need to find a solution for every hotel. And does it really fit this audience? We've been also, sorry, I'm going on and on. We've also looked at, you probably read it in the news for some of our partners. Can we change how we handle bookings in general? Could we do something like a subscription model? Can we subscribe to hotels and then have a monthly fee, and you can stay a certain amount in this hotel for free, in quotes, for that amount? This has all been tested out or in the process of being tested. I strongly believe it's a good time on the one hand side to test, but on the other hand, think about what you have resources available, and can you actually afford to do these kind of tests? Or is it better to focus on, let's say, your website, you optimize it, you make sure that once the visitor or the guest comes to your website is really convinced that you're the right partner, and spend more money actually on acquisition.
I have a question now on this, Stefan, because we have actually spoken about this whole subscription model quite a lot in Revenue Hacks, especially last year, because obviously Change was starting to do this. Is it something you believe people can buy into? And do you think it only applies to certain type of hotel products? Because let's be honest, not every hotel is the same. No one wants to buy into a 3-star. However, I'm pretty certain they'll be quite happy to buy into a luxury model if the price was right.
Well, honestly, I think as I said, with renting out office spaces or hotel rooms as office spaces, I think it's the similar problem or similar solution in the end. It needs to fit the hotel, and I strongly believe we have a couple clients who this fits, but it's not necessarily for a very small group. If you're talking, we also have clients with three destinations.
It needs to be very open, very global scale almost. And I think it just needs to be, for me personally, I think it needs to be that bit of a higher end product. I'm sorry, no one's going to go in and pay for an express model, you know, or for a Hampton by Hilton, unless it was very, very quirky on an annual basis, subscription wise, unless it kind of fed into their market. I don't know if Calvin, if you guys have seen that type of model in the US yet.
To be honest, I'm blown away. I haven't heard anything like that. That's a very new idea to me. I love it as a revenue manager. I'm already envisioning people, you know, hoping as the revenue manager, hoping that people see it as a gym membership. You pay and I see you twice the whole month, and we can keep a lot of money for no reason.
Yeah, but as I said, I think it needs to fit, and you need to have the locations where you have this option where the customer sees the option to go to on a regular basis, like you said, Calvin. That's what we see. But honestly, I think I remember a couple of years ago, everyone on all these conferences was talking about it's going to be a mobile key, and actually we built these solutions a couple of years ago. And then I was going out there to other hotel clients, and somehow everyone assumed, since it's been spoken about so widely in all these conferences, everyone seemed to assume, oh, we don't have it, so we're really, really missing out on a lot of things. And if you really talk to these people it was always the same people talking at conferences. It's not that many. It was not the majority, but somehow in the industry, the impression was everyone was doing it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but what I'm trying to say is be open to these technologies, but make them work for you and not try to run behind the whole industry as such. Obviously, there's best practices out there. Learn from them, yes, but not blindly following everything. And I honestly, with mobile key, I think I know I'm leaning out of the window, but I think it's a non-problem or solution for a non-problem. I think the check-in part, the touch or touchless part, you know, I don't have to touch anything in the hotel to get into the key. That, yes, and the mobile key is part of this bigger scheme, but not in itself. I think it's not a solution in itself. If you package it as a whole, and we're talking about guest journey, I think that's where the loop closes again. If you package it in a whole solution, then it makes sense.
I think that's very true. There's a lot of technologies out there that actually do the whole guest journey, not just the booking engine, the whole way through to the PMS and to the guest journey on even in-house and outhouse and on checkout. And I think that seamless integration, that seamless kind of feel for the customer needs to be there. Like you've seen at the start of the pandemic out in China, we all seen that magical hotel that there was no staff in there at all. It was all run by robots. Everything was done, you know, food, check-in, everything. And it was just so cool to see, you know, seamless. I love the way Julie's actually commented there about mobile key.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes.
Julie is fantastic, and Julie actually works with some really good hotels and doing apps. And I think one of the good news stories out of this lockdown in particular was a particular property that Julie's worked with in the UK, and they've changed their model completely to being a takeaway service. And Julie really helped them with that with her company Citron. Yeah. And I think people, I'm going to say it, we've said it all the time. I know Susanne is going to say it as well, and I'm sure Calvin will get on the bandwagon. People need to start really understanding how investing in decent technology, in good technology, not the sexy tech, the stuff that looks good on the outside, the bells and whistles, but is actually crap. Yeah. And actually using that to capitalize on the return on investment. It's not just the customer, it's also your staff, it's also you, it's your business model. And it totally helps. I love the way she says totally cashless now.
Yeah.
I don't carry cash. Yes. I genuinely don't carry cash. And last week I got caught on the hop. I had no cash with me and I was going, huh? And I just don't understand it anymore. I think as well, banks need to open up this whole, at least when you pay with your iPhone or your Android phone, you can actually use tap and pay and there's no limit on that. But if you're paying with your bank card, it's only like 50 quid. They should up that as well. I know it's a fraudulent thing, but from a society type of thing where we're all trying to avoid cash, it's totally worth it. Susanne, you were going to say something before I jumped in on my high horse.
I knew you were going to raise the point. It was about, sexy tech. It's about the need for something shiny that the market says you must have, and actually use is pointless. It's cost you money and it doesn't work. So I think, I knew you were going to pick up on that sexy tech point. But I'm also curious, Calvin, about the social media aspect of the guest journey, where it starts, how it feeds, what the influence can be and how it can be measured. And then where you see, how do you make sure that your social media content and feed sit nicely along your brand position on website, and how does that enhance conversion? So I'm quite curious around your views on that. Both
Sure. No, I think now that's such a crucial part of the journey. I mean, most people are. I mean, everybody's on Instagram or some form of social media, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. And I think hotels in the past have focused too much on how many followers people have. And when the key is really engagement, if you've got 20,000 followers, but your engagement is less than 1%, what are you really achieving? Are people, people are not engaged, not to overuse the word, but they're not interested in what you're posting. So it'd be better off to have 10,000 followers, even 5,000, 6,000, but you've got 1,000 people that are locked in and are engaged in everything you're posting. And most of the time, this is where people are going to find you. Your websites are still a crucial part of the booking process. And I'm never going to sit here and say that it's not. But people expect your website to be curated, polished, look a certain way. And we all know that's you putting your best face forward. The point I'm getting at, social media is intended to be a bit more authentic, where you find out more about the people that work at the property. That's something I push to my clients initially, always. We want to know behind the scenes. They're going to go on your Instagram feed to see what's happening at the hotel today. If you've got an event going on, do a story, do a couple of posts about what's happening. Do a feature about employees. You have an employee of the month. Do a nice post about them. That gives the guest a friendly face to look for when they show up. And I think right now, the reason I started my agency is because I saw a hole in the industry here. I think hotels really didn't understand how to really utilize it as a revenue generating channel. You've got 8, 10, 18,000 people there. They should be guests. Those should be people that are coming to your property at some point. And, a lot of these agencies don't really understand the hotel business either. They do social media, kind of tick the box. We'll post 2 or 3 times a week, but we're not telling a story. We're not giving anything unique about the property. And every hotel, I don't care if you're just your regular cookie cutter limited service or a 5-star luxury that has a lot of history, every hotel has its own personality. And as a revenue manager, anybody who's done revenue out there, I know can speak to that. It takes time, no matter every time you change a property, to figure that property out, because every hotel has its individual personalities, individual booking windows and trends. It could be right across the street from your last one, but every person that works at the hotel brings something unique. And I don't care if you're limited service or small, big, whatever, you can find a story that makes your property unique and attract your audience and people that want to see what you have to offer.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, isn't it? Earlier on, we just mentioned about the personalization and social media and the use of hashtags and tech that sits behind that. Now, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think social media as a channel should be used as a conversion tool? And then how do you personalize the guest stay?
Oh, yeah, I think, honestly, at this point, I don't see any reason to have social media if you're not using it to try to convert to guests, right? As a business, as any business, I think the whole purpose to go on there and do that, yes, you want to have fun with it. And that's what's going to make it authentic. And that's how you're going to curate and find your guest and your audience. But if we're not turning them into dollars, if we're not getting them through the door, what's the point, right? And, something came up in our conversation earlier about, I think there's that fine line between being invasive and getting to know your audience as well. We gave an example about somebody, we looked into their profile, realized they like scotch and cigars, and we had that waiting for them in the room. Some people may get turned off by that. Some people may say, whoa, how did you even know this? Me personally, I would love it. There was a restaurant I used to go to, and after a while, I'd show up and my drink would be waiting on the table before I even ordered, before we even sat down. Like, I love that. I like that personal touch, but again, everything's individual, and something we discussed earlier with the technology, there's no one size fits all. And the reason there is no one size fits all is because we're all different. Everybody likes different things. The four of us could go to a hotel right now and have 4 different experiences, right? And because we all want different things. So I think it's the great part about social media in that way is you can communicate with the guests way ahead of time. I love when I'm on a hotel's feed and, someone will comment on a picture and saying, oh, I'll be there for my anniversary, in 6 months. And they respond. And then, you can now take that conversation to a direct message or an email and have a conversation with the guest with what they're going to be comfortable with, or, what kind of wine do you like? What would you want in your room? And you can surprise them with that, or surprise at least one of them, if it's an anniversary.
I think bringing that around to the acquisition point, Stefan, that you made about how you acquire those guests, when you're getting that engagement on social media, then you pull them into your acquisition process, and then you can really target and personalize, can't you, when they visit your web page, they're on your social channel, you can email them. The message is so personal, excellent service, spot on, high conversion.
Yeah, what we can, with what Calvin described, what we can do on the website side is really knowing where they're coming from and gathering actually a bit of the background and even personalized. Sometimes we actually do what I call soft personalization, which is when we talk with clients on personalization, it's always perceived as, we're going to say, welcome, Stefan, on the website. But actually, when we talk about soft personalization, really a bit technical now, but let's define elements on your homepage that can dynamically change. And if we, for example, know, since you've done a booking on our website, we can customize your experience. So instead of promoting our other hotel in, let's say, Berlin, which you haven't booked right now, we can nowadays, with quite simple methods, we can push up the content of the neighborhood, what things you can do around the hotel you've booked. The idea behind it is really to welcome the guest. When you have a guest 5 times coming to your hotel, you usually greet him personally, or you know him, like what Calvin said before. The drinks maybe at the bar already. But usually the website is exactly the same for everyone. So what we're trying to do with the acquisition, target at least by the source, where they're coming from, if they're coming via our social channels, if they're coming via an ad campaign, etc., and then guiding them through. One other thought, it's really a toy project. What I really would like to do with regards to storytelling once is, I keep thinking about hotel photography, and if it would be possible to do, and it's a challenge for myself, if it would be possible to build a hotel website only with social media pictures, actually from the customers, to really have like this real life experience. Because as you said, everyone has a different experience in the hotel, and usually have this really crisp photography, but they many times don't show the actual life at the hotel.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's sort of like the TripAdvisor effect, right? Like I was saying before, they expect to see your website. It's supposed to be polished. They know that you're putting your best foot forward, but then it's like when you're on TripAdvisor and you see the guest pictures. You see professional pictures, then you see the guest pictures.
Yeah. Everyone's looking at the guest pictures.
Right, because you want to see what it really looks like. And, I think we've all been there. I know I have in planning vacations where, this hotel looks fantastic. And then you go on TripAdvisor and you see what the beach really looks like. It's a lot of seaweed there. A lot of rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about that one.
I've actually had that experience. I actually went to Africa for one of my jobs, and I remember going there, and it was just like this. The beach is always really nice in the pictures, but then it was like a big oil slick everywhere because it's actually near a lot of oil rigs. I remember saying to the guy, I was like, really? And they're like, oh, that picture was taken from somewhere else. That's not here. I was like, really? I spent my whole time looking forward to being able to finish work every night just to go swimming. You're kidding me. But that brings to the storytelling element. You know, does the guest engagement, you know, for years we always said the guest engagement starts when they start looking at your hotel, clicking into your hotel. You know, at one stage it was like 50 odd clicks on different websites until they actually booked your hotel. Random crazy stuff. How is it now though when it comes to actually with a guest? Is it that you're trying to get in their thought process, especially with staycations coming up now? Are you trying to create this ultimate journey for them, the ultimate adventure? You know, if you're a place in Cornwall by the sea, Susanne will probably jump in on this one as well. You know, are you trying to create a come stay with us and you can do sea, surf, eat ice cream at 10 o'clock at night, you know, your kids will be looked after? Or what are you trying to, what is it the whole kind of trying to capture that guest right now on their journey? Because we're all looking for something different right now, but we all know that a staycation is looming.
Do you want me to say something about this?
Yeah,
Stefan,
no, I thought you were going to reply.
I'm quite curious about how hotels can really work at attribute-based pricing, so really making the most of the full guest experience, where you've got your core product and offer, and then you build out your own experience with attribute-based pricing. So is that even possible? And PMSs are difficult, but when you introduce an RMS system, then it's a lot easier. I think that's a barrier for hotels to even get moving with the idea of attribute-based pricing and trying to enhance that experience. With Christina's points about, you know, the view and the surf and the F&B and the breakfast and the, you know, all the things that you can add on to that. Is there any way that you can see from a web perspective and a booking engine that you can, hotels that don't have an RMS system that are maybe smaller, more luxury, they can tap into that?
Actually, we're actually building something, a very simple solution in the end. We're tapping into the confirmation email sending for a specific client. So they make a booking via an OTA or the website, hopefully. Then we have connected table bookings, spa bookings, really with a very simple construction of specific landing pages. You go directly to and deep link directly to from within the confirmation email or a pre-stay email. And we have actually connected some of the customer data, so they don't need to pre-fill everything else. And we know the dates, for example, when they come in. There's really just a tiny one. Obviously, where I would like to go more and more is how can we not only sell rooms on the website? So when we build a website, we have a booking engine, and really you can book a room and maybe some add-ons, and that's it. But what about all the other services we have on the website? And we're really always working to try to bring these things together into like an e-commerce platform, if you want, for all the service you actually offer on the website. But again, it depends on what kind of hotel you are. I think that's really the key takeaway. It doesn't apply to every hotel, yeah, it's something we're really working on all the time. The other thing I wanted to speak about is really if we now have acquired, we talked about acquisition, right? So the user comes to the website and we try to immerse him into our product. One thing I really like to stress out, if you're a single hotel, the storytelling part we touched on briefly is really important, because if you compare your page to your Booking.com page, where your hotel is presented on Booking.com, on your website, you have the chance to not only state the facts and a couple pictures and a couple icons that summarize everything. On your website, you can tell your story on the website about your hotel. On Booking.com, you can't. I think that's your advantage on the website, or one of the advantages you have on the website.
Where does the AR fit into this user journey, do you think? Do you think that that's going to be something that we see more of? Is it just one of those things that are going to fall by the wayside and it sounds fantastic, but actually nobody's going to adopt it? What are your views on the use of AR across?
I fully buy into it personally. With most of our clients, it's a bit of a question on costs, to be honest. What we've seen, and I think was a great campaign actually for a pre-opening. We did a cardboard VA project, so you could actually, it was actually for a press event, and we had this VR walkthrough throughout the hotel, and we sent out the, I don't know if you know that, the cardboard VR, you can stick on your phone and then put your phone actually in front of your eyes and have a VR experience. That was really nice. What we do see, for example, for the congress and seminar hotels we have, they actually have usually at least a 360 degree view of all their meeting rooms to show off what the hotel looks like. So definitely something to look out for, but not specifically for short-term conversion increase, I would say.
No. And I guess, the hybrid events, when you're talking about the meeting rooms and the virtual reality and the 360, that's a hot topic at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Calvin, I don't know if you're seeing people request more VR, AR, online selling, virtual tours, the selling all happening online. What are you guys seeing coming through in hotels?
So what we're seeing in our place is that we do have to do it. I did mention this on our call on Monday. We actually started to see a lot more people request virtual tours. So we almost have like a Google video for one of our new properties that we opened mid-pandemic last year, where it's kind of like that experience of walking into the lobby, looking around, seeing the bar, seeing the restaurant, walking into the elevator, getting out of the elevator, going into a room and seeing a few room types. It's worked really well with our clients in particular, the tour clients who are looking to sell property, we're selling rooms to at the moment for 2022, whatever year it is. So it's actually working very, very well. I will say we did get our pictures through PhotoWeb. They are a really good company. They actually were recommended to us by one of the brands. They actually work with a lot of international chains. They do good work for sure. I do think there should be a little bit more of a touch point for guests with the VR and the AR so that we can't go and experience these things at the moment. And I think if you were a new hotel and you want to showcase to tour clients, either at a conference or even just through email, it's great giving them that concept, especially if you're even building a property. We're building one exactly the same as what we have in the UK here in Dublin. And I'm literally just saying, we're the same but different. Have a look at our virtual tour. The colors might not be the same here in Dublin because we're there, but it's going to be the same. And I don't know if Calvin's seeing that in his side of the pond when it comes to actually, dealing with clients.
No, to be honest, I haven't seen it firsthand. But I mean, again, I think it comes down to options. I think having that option now, especially in the new world we're in this industry, having things done like that virtually is going to be paramount. I think just having the option to be able to give to a guest that wants to book a wedding or any sort of event, to be able to send them some technology or send them to a place on your website where they can view the space. We were looking for real estate a while ago. I mean, I'm still pretty old school when it comes to those things, because right when the pandemic hit, people were doing only virtual, and they were like, you won't be able to physically come see the house until you make an offer. I'm like, I'm not making an offer on something I haven't walked in before, So I'm definitely in that percentage of person who probably won't commit to anything until I can physically go see it. But there are a lot of people who would. And again, it's having that option.
I've seen, international chains do that as well. If you look at Melia, for instance, have done it. They've done VR tours. We've done VR tours because, again, people can't come, like you said. I think it's a great way of actually having that touch point even with bookers, CT companies, travel companies. It's great because, you're still keeping that connection with them so that you are still relevant when the time comes. Sorry, Stefan.
No, it was fully on board with you. I was just thinking, I think we need to communicate our hygiene standards on the website. And I think this whole virtual experience we can have can help communicate and help the potential guests to see what we're doing in the hotel, should they decide to finally come.
Questions though, let's go into this because we talked about social media. Calvin, we know you were a big Instagram person. I want to know TikTok. I had a conversation today with someone about TikTok for hotels. I know that there's brands getting into TikTok, especially now in the next while. Do you think TikTok's good for hotels? Do you think it's a good way, A, to showcase your rooms, but B, do you need to be all happy singing and dancing, or can it just be almost like not a straight face, but, you know, smiling people walking through? Do you think that's a good way for VR?
I mean, I don't see why not. Again, you know, social media is just a great way to express your personality. If the personality of your property is more stoic, where you're not going to be singing, dancing, then you can do it that way. I mean, I did a whole blog on my website a while ago about this guy who worked for Sherwin-Williams, which here in the States is a big paint company. This guy has millions and millions of followers because he was mixing paint. There's nothing more boring than paint, right? Nobody says, hey, I had a lot of fun this weekend. I painted my living room, you know, but he has millions of followers because he had a passion for it, and he found his audience, and he made it clever and interesting and fun for people. So if you wanted to do TikTok or Reels on Instagram or anything, there's absolutely a way to do it. And I think it's finding your voice, finding the personality of your hotel, your property, and the way you want to express it. And absolutely, I would encourage anybody to do that.
I actually checked up, honestly, and the reason I laughed so much there was because when you're talking about being the most boring subject, I thought trying to engage a food and beverage manager in a spreadsheet in revenue management. Let's go on TikTok, people. Let's go on TikTok.
Don't forget finance. They're usually the most fun people in the hotel.
Sad to see the Kat agrees with us as well. Kat was on the show last week to talk about GDS, but Kat has said that obviously hotels just need to be true to their personalities. Don't be trying to go and create a different persona, because when people check in, that's when reality will bite, and it's not going to be great. Before we finish up, because we're almost out of time, I know, told you, Stefan, it goes really, really quickly. When we were talking to Stefan during the week, he really was like, oh God, we're not quite sure. He was like, it's going to fly super fast. It's really fast paced. Stefan, do you have any last words in regards to the guest journey that you think people should do right now?
I had prepared this and I forgot it. No, one second. I think what we talked about when we had our little preparation, I think that's important to me. What in my eyes, and what I keep telling my client, and my teams usually yells at me and said, don't make our services smaller. And I'm saying, I'm not doing this. But what I keep telling our clients is usually the website in itself is basically the worst thing that can happen is stand in the way. And it's actually also the best thing or not stand in the way. What I'm trying to say is it's your acquisition that delivers the traffic to the website. And having a good website is the basis to convert this traffic. But without acquisition strategies like social media, or any meta search, any other means to acquire traffic, is the basis for a good performing website. Once you have the user on the website, I highly recommend to have a true story that you're behind and you believe in, and obviously all the standards: mobile first, SEO optimized, very fast, best pictures you can get, and the best booking flow. I've done a presentation a couple years ago where I was on this 5-star hotel resort website, really nice looking website. I was ready to book. I clicked the booking panel and I got into a completely new world. Did look different. Even the logo was slightly different. That's how you scare off your visitors. And so I would say spend the time to prep for when we can go full power again and acquire bookings. And the second thing is the third thing is also get your tracking right. When you talk to a booking engine provider, they usually tell you about really big conversion rates, which you never seen on your website. That's just in my perspective, and I'm really trying to get this through to everyone. Make a difference between what's your conversion rate on the whole website versus a booking engine conversion rate. So what happens in your booking engine? These are two numbers, and both are very valid. Your booking engine provider usually only reports on the second one, and it's way higher because obviously those people have started using it. With regards to the pandemic, I think there's two things from my perspective. The market got smaller, but the hotels are still there. So we have a lot more competition, and there's even in Germany, where we're pretty much almost on the full lockdown with regards to hotels, there's still business to be made. I'm thinking of TV teams. I have clients that host TV teams and they book the whole hotel. We also have sports teams that are out there. So I think competition right now, short term, is very high, and think about how you can target them.
Susanne, do you have anything to add? Because you were the queen of the guest journey, for sure. We've seen that over the last few episodes.
No, I think it's been brilliant to have the insights of Stefan and Calvin today. I think that the user journey digitally, the online experience is just going to get more and more important. I think the content, the storytelling, your social media, the conversion actually could, dare I say this, but I think it's becoming more important than that price. I think price still gets you to conversion, but the storytelling aspect of it is definitely growing and growing. So especially post-pandemic with staycation market, I do not see price being the main deciding factor, just with the demand surge. So I'm really excited to see what comes over the next 6 months.
Calvin, do you have anything to add for your first episode of Revenue Hacks?
Well, I survived, so I made it. So no, I mean, we got so many great comments in there. It's a shame we didn't get to them all. But after my last comment about TikTok, I mean, a few people chimed in there. It's really all the demographic you're going after as well. I mean, I think that's important. I take that for granted that people have already identified that. But TikTok is definitely more on the younger side. But what's great about it is you can push to Instagram and YouTube, so you can use it to feed your other channels. So if you have a big YouTube presence or Instagram, use that, build up an audience there, and you can push. But yeah, I mean, if your average age is 60 plus, I'm not sure TikTok is the way you want to go. It probably better uses of your time.
Perfect. Well, that's it all from us. Just to let you know, guys, who won the mug today, definitely Julie from Citron. 100% Julie has been the most engaged person today. So well done, Julie. There'll be a Revenue Hacks mug coming your way. And again, remember, when you do get your mug, send us a picture. Let us know you got it for sure. Hopefully, you won't have a picture of me on the back of it, because I know how much you all love me so much. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. It's been great. Stefan, thank you so much for joining us today. And Calvin, for getting up super early in your day, for coming along with myself and Susanne. It's been amazing. We will see you guys all next week. Next week, we're going to be talking to actually a friend of Calvin, who's Ken Patel. He actually runs EV Hotels. And he's working on a super, super cool project with Lucid, who's actually Tesla's rival in the States. A lot of people on this side of the world won't really know about it. So stay tuned, because this guy is going to turn hotel systems right upside down. See you then. Bye.